Hello, everybody. I'm Joe Sira with STI. I want to thank you all for attending today. Today, we're going to discuss the end of life of Windows 10, the long time operating system of Microsoft Windows with quite the running time of over 10 years. And we're going to discuss what your choices are to replace Windows 10 in October. And basically, you have three of those. So I'm going to introduce Al Toper, who's the Director of Managed Services at STI, who's our guest speaker today. Is going to talk about what your options are with the retirement of Windows 10. And I'll be back at his conclusion to talk about questions. If you have questions, please enter those in the chat option on the right-hand side of your screen. Just so you know, everybody's been muted to keep the noise down. And we'll try to get to as many of those questions as possible when we come back. So Al, it's all yours.
All right, thank you so much, Joe. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I really appreciate it. I hope I provide some education to you, a little bit of history, and some suggestions for plans of moving forward. I even, without these guys knowing, I have a couple of gift cards to give away if you guys are want to win some money. So near the end, I'm going to ask a couple questions on some of the stuff I presented. So try to pay attention, and hopefully you can leave with some gift card. Thank you so much. Okay, so who is STI? Just a little bit of background about us. We're a managed service and security company. We've been in business for over 30 years. We're ranked in the 250 top MSSPs in the world, not just in the United States. We stand out because we like to give like white glove treatment. Not only most MSSPs are doing all their magic behind the scenes, and we have those people that are doing that stuff behind the scenes, but we also send people on site to give good service up front, in front of you, can be face to face. So that differentiates us. We're a trusted advisor, so businesses will reach out to me and even hand me out MEP mechanical, electrical, and plumbing blueprints to help them when they're building buildings, so that we make sure the right electric, power, ventilation is there for your technology. We also we use all US-based employees. We don't outsource, so if you ever have to call us, you're not going to end up going to India or the Philippines or places like that. We also resell hardware and software, and we don't do it as a money-making venture. We want people to get the right equipment and not just go to some local store and just buy something really cheap. We want things that work and you don't have problems with, and then we resell it with very little markup so that you guys are always getting the best deals out there. And then like I said, we're there to work with you as in your business. So we like to meet with you, learn more about you so that we can make suggestions with technology that would make your jobs easier, because your jobs are not computer people. Your jobs are doing whatever it is in your business. So we're involved with everything in your business, including telephones and security, like building security, and so much more. And that's us. Okay, so a little bit about the history. Windows, it's the #1 used operating system on desktop computers. It's been doing that way for a long time. So for me personally, I started in this industry a long time ago, before PCs were in the business, were being used for business. As a young man, like I worked in the mainframe world, where you might have seen in science fiction movies with the spinning tape drives. That's where I started. And so in 1981, Microsoft introduced MS-DOS. They worked with IBM, and they started making computers that people would use in businesses. The first word processors, the first spreadsheets, basically the death knell for typewriters was that first PC. Then in 1983, they came out with the help of Xerox. They actually stole from Xerox the graphical interface to run Windows in a more graphical way. It was easier to use. You didn't need to know all those command prompts, commands that you would use to type in things to get done. Now you could have a graphical front end, but it was still basically MS-DOS. Then in 1993, a really important thing happened. Microsoft wrote their first operating system that was not based on DOS. And Windows NT was really big. The problem was it was expensive and it needed a lot of power for at that time. So it was not really used heavily as a desktop operating system, mainly by engineers and programmers, but it did run a server. So NT became really the first Windows operating system that was not only all not including anything having to do with DOS, it also was used on a lot of servers. So, and that technology has continued on, although it has improved. So in 95, the first really mainly used operating system was Windows 95. So 95, a lot of you guys probably have used it. It kind of still Windows 10 and the newer versions all kind of look like it, but it was still part MS-DOS in there. It was Windows, but they didn't put all those functions and utilities that were in NT. So Windows 95 was really a highly used operating system and might have believe that is when they first became #1. And then in 98, Windows 98 came out. And that's when they removed the last of DOS, and that's when Windows Update finally came out. The second Tuesday of every month, Windows releases updates. At that time, it wasn't every second Tuesday, but that's when Windows Update started happening, where you were on the internet and your computer would update with new features and new security updates. And then was a couple operating systems that weren't highly used. So Windows ME came out. It was really aimed for consumers. And then after that, XP came out in 2001. And along with that, it merged all the stuff they did in NT 95, 98, and Windows ME. They created XP. Vista came out in 2006, which everyone complained about. The reviews were not good, and it didn't make it to too many computers. And then in 09, they really came out with a really good graphical interface. They changed it around, and that was Windows 7. And Windows 7 was around for a good long time, and it was a solid operating system. Not many problems. Things seemed to run really smooth for a long time. But then in 2012, they released Windows 8. But mainly the reason 8 came out was touchscreen. All of a sudden, all-in-one computers were coming out, and just the ability to touch your screen, kind of like already the iPads and iPhone, which came out in 07, was doing. And then they finally got their stuff all cleaned up and wanted everything to work together, and they came out with Windows 10, which was the #1 operating system out there. And it was until recently, because a lot of people have now upgraded to Windows 11. And the main difference between Windows 10 and Windows 11 is the online troubles that are out there. So they needed to improve on security. So what Windows 11 does, it includes the TPM 2.0 chip. Now, I don't want to get too technical with you guys, but there's a chip now put into computers, and they actually started the TPM sometime in the late 2010s, like 18, 19, 20. They started putting the chip in there, but not in every computer. So there's many computers out there that ran Windows 10 that didn't have this TPM chip. So the big thing is security. So what is Windows 10 end of life? And that's what we're dealing with right now. On October 14th, in a few months from now, they're not going to support it any longer. That means no more technical assistance, no feature updates, no security. So, they've decided that's it. They're not going to update it anymore. And why is it happening? Well, as I said in the last slide, it's technological advances. They are really looking at encrypting everything, securing the hardware on computers. I know, not into getting too much into hacking, but they don't only hack software and websites. There's actually hackers that actually go and try to hack the CPU or the memory or actual equipment within your PCs. So what are the risks? So if you're using unsupported software, the hackers will know this. They're going to look for you, right? So the vulnerabilities they'll search for vulnerabilities and they'll continue to search for them, and then they're going to find you out there just by accident as they put these spiders out on the web and search. So you basically have a few options. So one, you can upgrade your computer to Windows 11. Now here's the thing. If your computer is a Windows 10 computer and it is able to upgrade to Windows 11, it probably has. So Windows 11 came out almost as a forced update on one of those second Tuesdays of the month. So most computers have upgraded. The one I am talking to you right now is a Windows 10 PC that isn't able to upgrade, but we support, I think it's around 4,000 devices out there, and I would say 60% of them upgraded to Windows 11. There's just the ones that don't have those features, a good enough processor, or that TPM 2.0 chip I discussed. So what benefits? Well, there are some benefits. Beyond the security is the arrival of AI. So now these newer model PCs that are coming out, there are some being labeled as Copilot PCs. That is Microsoft's AI engine. And that AI engine uses a lot of processing power. When you're processing an AI request, the computer is just firing up. So these new Copilot PCs, and even the ones that are non-Copilot, just have much faster processors in it, faster memory. Just the entire box is a faster running box. So these higher speeds, these newer PCs, and Windows 11, the operating system, are designed for it. All right, how do you prepare for this transition? If you're still in Windows 10, you're going to Windows 11. Here's some practical tips. Back up your data. You should already be backing up. You should already be backing up your data, but if you aren't, you really need to do this before you go and get a new PC or you force some type of upgrade to Windows 11 on the current PC. You should always be backing up your equipment. We are very big on making sure everything is backed up because, I can get you a new computer if your computer blows up, but I can't create your data for you that you had on there. So backing up is very important. The next thing is check the system requirements. I'll show you here in a minute how you can check it on your PC, but you should check to make sure your PC is able to handle it. Explore new devices. This is something we have seen from some of our customers. We sold a heavy duty document scanner. It was made by company Fujitsu, made this great scanner. We sold them 10 to 15 years ago, and those things are still humming along and working really well. Uh, Upgrade to Windows. Well, to Fujitsu, that model scanner has gone end of life. It's been end of life for a long time, but we didn't care because they had a Windows 10 driver and they continued to work. So we're not going to sell you hardware just because new stuff comes out. We wait till you actually need something. So the scanner's considered end of life, so they didn't make a driver for Windows 11. So that scanner, although it physically is still able to work, it will no longer work with PCs. Now, we have been messing with it, and we did get one to work if you do some things to the registry, but we can't guarantee that it will continue to work. And the next Windows 11 update that'll come out on the second Tuesday of the month may break it again. So before you upgrade, you need to look at what other peripherals you have on your machines. And when I say peripherals, I mean scanners, printers, card readers, whatever else you might have attached to your computer. And talk to your trusted advisor like STI. We consider ourselves a trusted advisor. If this is something you're going to do, you would reach out to us and tell us this is something you are planning, and we would look over that stuff for you. Here's some common things I have heard, concerns. Can I still use Windows 10 after end of life? Yes, it won't just stop working, but you won't get any security updates. You won't get technical support from Microsoft. And as I said earlier, you're going to be low-hanging fruit. That is what the hackers are going after. Like, I can't 100% guarantee anybody you'll never be hacked, but I will almost guarantee you will be hacked if you're low-hanging fruit, meaning you have something out there that is easily hacked. They will find you. They will find you and they will attack you, and something's going to happen, whether it's stealing your credentials when you type them in, or some other where they just encrypt your entire PC and lock it out. What happens to your existing software and files? Well, that should all continue to work. However, as I mentioned, you may have some compatibility issues with scanners or hardware, or maybe you're using some old version of QuickBooks that is not made to run on Windows 11. You'll need to upgrade them, but most things will continue to work. Like Word and Excel, those things will continue to work. Do you have to upgrade? Although it is recommended, it's not mandatory. Unless you're in an industry, and I brought this up, is if you're in healthcare, financials, anything that has to face compliance, that is negligence, not to upgrade. So that's when you get in trouble. So it's not mandatory for someone sitting at home if they don't care they possibly might be hacked, but it is mandatory if you are in a compliance directed industry. How much does it cost to upgrade? It's free. Like I said, most of the people that have Windows 10 that have eligible PCs have already upgraded to 11. They didn't have to do anything. So if you do, then if you do have a Windows 10 PC and you're wondering why it has an upgrade, you got to determine if your PC is upgradable. So let me show you real quick. I'm going to jump out of this and let me see if I can go back into here. And I got to stop the slideshow. Well, let me show you at the very end. How's that? I'm going to show you how to do a health check on your computer. This command right here, I'm a little cut off with my head here, but it says PC health check. If you go down to the start button at the bottom left of your screen, there's a little search field there. Just type in PC space health space check. There'll be a box that'll show you if it's compatible with Windows 11. So I'll try to show you that at the very end of this presentation. Okay. So I said a lot. I know I jumped around. I talk very fast. I've said this many times. I have 3 daughters at home and a wife. I have to talk fast at home. So I know I've spoken quickly to you guys, but I'm going to ask a couple trivia questions. I don't think they're that difficult. They're not easy though. I'm going to give you a $50 Amazon gift card if you can get it right. So if you look in your little control panel in the top right, you will see this screen up here. Just go up and click on the chat. You'll be able to type a message right down here and try to answer this question. Are you ready? Okay. And Matt, who's the moderator on here, Matt, just let me know because I'm not looking at the chat. So if you get an answer, let me know. I will give them a couple minutes. If there's no answer, I'll just give the answer and I get to keep, how's this? I'll get to keep the Amazon gift cards. That would be great. All right, here we go. Okay. What desktop version of Windows was the first fully functional OS that was not based on MS-DOS? Give you a couple hints. It was 93. It was used on a lot of servers. I know that was an early slide. Let's see if anyone can get it.
Hey, Al, I have a couple that came through. Why don't you tell us the answer and I'll see who they are.
All right, thank you so much. And if we get multiple people, how about if you do a little drawing, or if it's only 2, or a coin flip or whatever. Okay, the answer is Windows NT. Many of you never used it or saw it, but that was the first OS that Microsoft was fully a Windows operating system, no longer used DOS, which, and it was actually so much faster than DOS. All right, ready? Here we go. Number 2. Which version of Windows was the longest supported version by Microsoft? I wanted to give you guys a hint, but I don't think I need to give you a hint. It was around, been around for like 10 years. Maybe that is a hint.
We have a few that came through. Can I give you the most probable one there?
You ready? Let's do it. I got the answer. You ready for the answer there, Matt?
I've got Windows 10 a few times it's come through.
Boom. It is Windows 10. And unfortunately, my head is cutting it off. I apologize. But Windows 10 is the answer. Windows 10 was out in 15. It is now 2025. It was the sole operating system for Microsoft for 10 years. They actually said it was going to be the last version and they would only like make newer versions of 10. And then, like Microsoft always seems to do, they changed their mind and now have Windows 11. All right, so I guess I'm not going to be getting the gift cards, but I'm glad you guys, some of you did pay attention. All right, so in conclusion, what do we got to do? First off, you need to start planning your transition. You need to contact us, or if you already have a trusted IT advisor, talk to them. They need to determine if your current peripherals are going to work, if your software is going to work. You need to have that stuff checked before you go and make the commitment to 11. And once you do, and before October, and I did want to bring this up, like a lot of people like to wait to the last minute. This is not the time to wait to the last minute, because especially what's going on in the world today with the wars and the shipping problems and the tariffs, this is something you need to do. And the other thing is, is people, we time is needed to get stuff scheduled, to get ordered, to receive. You really want to be ahead of the curve. Now, don't wait till September to actually like, okay, we're going to do this now, or worse, October, October 14th is it. So try to make a decision soon. Just STI alone, we have when I was in the office earlier, and there's boxes, piled high that we have to get systems installed. So, we got to get you on the list as soon as possible if you're doing it through us. I'm sure your own IT providers are facing the same issues. And like I said, you have to go on Windows 11. Don't be the low-hanging fruit. You will be attacked. Okay. So any questions? I know I talked fast. I know, and I left a lot of time here for some questions and answers. So, please go into the chat and ask your questions. I'd appreciate it.
I'll check that for you, Al. Do you want to pull up that screen to show them where they can check on the Windows?
Yeah, let me see if I can do that for you guys. Yeah, let me get that. Okay, here we go.
Well, Al is doing that. We have any questions, Matt?
Well, here, let me do this real quick.
We do have a couple questions while Al is going through there. Al, are you ready to show us?
Can you see my screen?
We can.
Yep, you can see me typing, right? See that? PC health check. And it brings up this screen here. And right at the top here, it says introducing Windows 11. Let's check if your PC meets it. I'm rolling the dice. And it goes out there. And as I told you, I'm on like a 10-year-old computer. I have a new one, but I've been late. I've been worried about setting it up, because I want to take my time doing it. But this computer would not be eligible. And this is what you would get. If it is eligible, it would allow it. All right, so let me pop back into here. Let me go from the current slide. And let's see. Do you see the thank you slide?
Yes, you're fine.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Al. Any questions, Matt?
We do have a couple. I also know we want to be timely to the people on the call, so I may have to I'll get these to you later, but let me hit a couple of these right now if I could. One of
Sure.
which is I use all web-based applications. Do I need to worry about upgrading my computer?
Yes, you know, so most of us are using all web-based applications. You know, very few people still have servers in their offices, or you know, maybe you're using QuickBooks locally, and but it doesn't matter because the hackers are going after. You're no longer going to get your computer is connected to the internet, so you are on the public highway. So you're out there with everyone else's, you know, packets of data are flying around. So they can attack you. And if they were to get to you, there's all different types of ways they hack, right? They encrypt your computer and then you can't use your computer. That's one. But that's not the only one. I talk a lot about keyloggers, right? There's some of the hackers don't do anything, but they record everything you go to and everything you type. So, you know, if you're using, you know, you're connecting to your bank and you're typing in your information, you know, they're getting that you're typing that information. Now, you can protect yourself some with using multi-factor authentication and having to click on a thing on your phone to say, yes, it's me, but you're still in danger. I would not take that chance. Hopefully that answers your question.
Thanks. And just Al, just because of the interest of time, I've got another one I want to put at you. If I buy a new PC, will all my software and files move over automatically?
Okay, if you buy a new PC, no, they won't automatically move over. Now, if it's self-upgraded to Windows 11, yes, but if you have to get a new PC, you're going to have to, like in the case of STI, what we do when one of our clients buys a PC, we order it. It comes we don't send it to you like if you were ordering from, say, Amazon or Dell or something. We bring it to our office. We do what we call an imaging of it. So new computers, you'll notice, come with like free 90 days of Microsoft Office and, you know, advertisements for other things. We clear all that. We call that bloatware. It's just stuff that'll slow you down and take up hard drive space. So we'll clear that off. We then lay our tools down like antivirus, endpoint protection, monitoring, because we want to monitor. When we have PCs on our clients, we monitor their computers for issues and problems to hopefully keep them up. So they won't automatically transfer. So most applications though can be reinstalled, and your data, which is the most important thing, can be transferred.
Can I get one last one to you, Al, if that's okay?
Yeah. I just like I told you, I want to respect people's time.
Yep.
So
Last one.
Mhm.
In addition to reviewing my Windows 10 to 11 upgrades, can STI help me with any equipment or even internet?
Of course, yes. That's my contact information up there. You know, we're always looking to help out businesses. We've been doing this a long time because um, we love this, and not just that. You know, like we're part of an association of like 400, 500 managed service providers, and we meet a couple times a year. Our industry has changed. We're not like competitors, like, oh, we are in some ways competitors, but we go there and we're very transparent. We share what's going on in the industry. I'll even share what tools we're using and how much I'm charging and what other people are charging. We kind of are open about that stuff. So yes, we can definitely. I didn't want to make this a sales thing, but yes, we can help you. Just note the information down on the slide here. And if you have other questions that that we didn't cover or something that someone else didn't ask, please, you can email me. I respond to all my emails.
Thank you, Al. That's it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Joe. Joe, you want to take us to the close?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, everybody, for attending. We're recording this, and we'll stop recording after I speak. And if you would like to see it again, it'll be on our website at stimsp.com. Thanks for attending.
Thank you. Thank you.